What if everything you've been told about ancient Egypt is a lie? What if the pyramids were never tombs, but machines? And what if the gods of Egypt weren't gods at all, but beings from the stars? Then history isn't history. It's a cover-up. Welcome to Numen Arcanis, your portal into forgotten truths, forbidden archaeology, and the ancient mysteries they try to erase. If you're ready to look beyond the veil, subscribe now, before this knowledge disappears forever. Fact 1. The true purpose of the Great Pyramid. Mainstream history tells us the Great Pyramid of Giza, built around 2560 BCE, served as the tomb of Pharaoh Khufu. Constructed using nothing more than copper tools, wooden sleleads, and the brute strength of thousands of workers over decades, it was supposedly meant to hold royal remains and treasure. But when the pyramid was finally opened, what did they find? No mummy, no treasure, not a single inscription glorifying the pharaoh. Just a series of mysterious chambers and a large empty stone box, all housed within a structure made of granite and limestone. Some believe this material choice wasn't random. Granite can conduct energy, and limestone can insulate it. The placement of shafts and chambers inside resemble mechanical or energetic systems. Could this tomb have been a power plant or even a Stargate device left behind by an advanced civilization? Fact 2. The Sphinx may be older than Egypt itself. The Sphinx, standing guard near the pyramids, is believed to have been carved around 2500 BCE during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre. According to traditional Egyptologists, it represents royal strength and was intended to protect the Giza plateau. But a closer examination reveals something astonishing. Geologist Robert Schoch observed deep vertical erosion patterns on the Sphinx, the kind caused not by wind and sand, but by heavy rainfall. Here's the problem. The Giza plateau hasn't seen that kind of rain in over 10,000 years. This pushes the age of the Sphinx thousands of years earlier than Egyptian civilization itself. Could it have been built by a lost pre-dynastic culture, or even by visitors from beyond this planet? Fact 3. The mysterious origins of Egyptian civilization. Mainstream history claims that ancient Egypt evolved from small tribal communities along the Nile. Around 3100 BCE, King Narmer unified Upper and Lower Egypt, establishing the First Dynasty. Language, writing, religion, and architecture supposedly developed gradually over centuries. But that's not what the evidence shows. There's a sudden explosion of knowledge, hieroglyphs, cosmology, precision architecture, all appearing without clear evolutionary steps. No trial and error, no primitive predecessors, just immediate mastery. Some researchers argue that this jump was too extreme to be natural. Theorists suggest the knowledge may have been imported, possibly from the Anunnaki, sky beings said to have descended from the stars. Was Egypt not a civilization born from slow development, but one gifted advanced knowledge from elsewhere? Fact 4. Overwhelming stone technology. The temples and monuments of Egypt were supposedly constructed using copper tools and stone hammers. Workers dragged massive granite blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, across miles of desert using wooden sleds. But how do you carve and shape hard granite with tools softer than the stone itself? And how do you explain the laser-like precision of certain cuts, curves, and angles found at sites like Abu Simbel, Karnak, or the Valley Temple? Modern engineers admit that some of these techniques would be difficult, even today, using industrial machines. Could the ancient builders have possessed lost knowledge, sonic or vibrational technology, or even a form of levitation? Were they tapping into natural earth energies or something out of this world? Fact 5. Pyramids across the globe. Coincidence or connection? We find pyramids not just in Egypt, but in Mexico, China, Sudan, Peru, and even Bosnia. Mainstream scholars say the pyramid shape simply evolved independently, because it's structurally sound. But why do so many of these pyramids align with celestial bodies, share similar proportions, and echo sacred geometry? More intriguingly, many ancient pyramid sites form a straight line across Earth's surface known as the Pyramid Belt, suggesting a global grid. Could this be the fingerprint of a once global civilization, or evidence that civilizations across the planet were influenced by the same external force? Were they all drawing from the same source of cosmic knowledge? Fact 6. Why no hieroglyphs show pyramid construction? The Egyptians were meticulous record keepers. They documented everything, from agricultural practices to religious ceremonies, from childbirth rituals to royal decrees. Their tombs and temples are filled with intricate carvings showing how boats were built, how bread was baked, even how makeup was applied. Yet when it comes to their greatest architectural feat, the construction of the pyramids, there is an eerie silence. No blueprints, no inscriptions, no murals depicting thousands of workers building these colossal monuments. Why would such a proud civilization omit the details of their crowning achievement? One provocative theory is that they didn't build them at all. Instead, the pyramids may have been inherited from a much older civilization, one lost to time, or perhaps something not entirely human. The ancient Egyptians might have used these structures, honored them, even deified them, but had no idea how they were made. Could the pyramids be remnants of a forgotten, pre-human epic? Fact 7. The underground Osiris shaft. Beneath the Giza plateau lies something even more enigmatic than the pyramids themselves, the Osiris shaft. While officially labeled as a symbolic tomb dedicated to the god Osiris, this structure is far from ceremonial. It's a deep, vertical tunnel system carved into solid bedrock, consisting of multiple chambers stacked atop one another, descending more than 100 feet below the surface. Within these chambers are massive granite sarcophagi, some weighing up to 20 tons, resting silently in the dark. But what's even more bizarre are the reported magnetic anomalies, strange readings that suggest something unusual is happening below. The lowest levels remain off-limits to the public and are permanently flooded, hiding whatever lies at the bottom. Why such secrecy? Why go to such lengths to seal it off? Some believe this is no tomb at all, but a piece of buried technology, an ancient power hub, or perhaps a sealed gateway to something, or someone, humanity was never meant to uncover. Fact 8. The Lost Library. Beneath the Sphinx. For decades, myths have circulated about a hidden library beneath the Sphinx, the so-called Hall of Records. Mainstream archaeologists dismiss these tales as legend. But in the 1990s, seismic surveys around the Sphinx revealed deep cavities exactly where ancient texts said the records would be, between the paws. Despite growing interest, no official excavation was allowed. Why the refusal to dig? Were they afraid of what they might find, or of what the public might learn? Ancient sources like Plato and Edgar Cayce speak of pre-cataclysmic knowledge stored underground, from a civilization lost in the flood. Could a vault of extraterrestrial or Atlantean knowledge still lie untouched beneath the sand? Fact 9. The DNA of the pharaohs. Traditional history describes Egyptian rulers as descendants of regional lineages, Nubians, Libyans, Levantines, reflecting a blend of North African and Mediterranean genetics. But when scientists studied the DNA of royal mummies, especially Tutankhamun's, they found anomalies. Some haplogroups detected aren't common in Africa, or even the Middle East. In fact, they align more closely with populations in Western Europe or the Caucasus. This has fueled theories that the pharaohs may have belonged to a genetically distinct, possibly hybrid, bloodline. Was this the result of an ancient genetic project? Were the rulers of Egypt part human, part something else? Fact 10. The strange death of Tutankhamun, king. Tutankhamun died young, around age 19. Egyptologists long believed illness or infection was to blame. But CT scans revealed shocking deformities: a clubfoot, malformed spine, necrotic tissue. Over 130 walking sticks were buried with him. His body showed signs of severe physical limitations, far beyond simple inbreeding. Some now suggest that he was the product of unnatural tampering, perhaps an attempt to preserve a failing hybrid bloodline. If the ancient gods were real and not human, was Tut their flawed descendant? A final experiment that didn't survive? Fact 11. Egypt's obsession with the stars. The ancient Egyptians were obsessed with the stars. Temples, pyramids, and monuments are aligned with constellations like Orion and Sirius. This is often explained as religious symbolism: Osiris, Isis, the afterlife. But the alignments are so precise, it's hard to believe it was just spiritual. The Giza pyramids align perfectly with Orion's belt. The heliacal rising of Sirius marked the Egyptian New Year and the flooding of the Nile. But how did a civilization with no telescopes know this? Could their gods have come from these stars and returned there when their mission ended? Fact 12. The mysterious fall of ancient Egypt. Mainstream narratives say Egypt fell due to natural decline, political corruption, drought, invasions. But for a civilization that once flourished for over 3,000 years, its fall feels abrupt. What if something else happened? What if the gods that guided and uplifted Egypt left and took their knowledge with them? Could Egypt have been part of a grand experiment, one that ended when the connection to higher forces was severed? Without their cosmic teachers, the Egyptians slowly lost their secrets, their power, and their place in the world. Perhaps Egypt was never the origin, but the echo, a memory of something older. The pyramids weren't tombs, they were devices. The Sphinx wasn't a statue, it was a sentinel, and the gods of Egypt weren't legends, but misremembered history. If you believe that truth is buried beneath centuries of sand and silence, then join us. Subscribe to Numen Arcanis, share this video, and help uncover what they tried to erase before it's lost forever.